Stakeholder acceptance and use of analytics depends on their trust in the data. End users and executives don't always think about the behind-the-scenes work and preparation that went into a dashboard. But they do have an intuitive grasp of and even an emotional connection to accurate data, making obviously inaccurate data a real challenge to overcome. The threat from infectious pathogens is greater today than ever. The outbreak or even resurgence of infectious diseases has shown how these types of diseases could in fact undermine a state's control of what happens within its territory. Yet, it is unclear whether growing recognition of the severity of the threat of infectious diseases has led to adequate policy responses and definitive action by states. There is ample evidence that toy play is a very important aspect of child development. Children of all ages enjoy playing with toys and the different roles they play in their fantasy and make-believe games, but toys are more than simple playthings. Many toys offer hands-on learning opportunities that can install basic skills that will benefit them for the rest of their lives. Breaking habits is very difficult. The easiest way is to control your environment so that you do not encounter the cue which triggers your habit. It is difficult to break any habit even when you are motivated to do so. If you are ambivalent about breaking it, then you will be less likely to succeed. Bananas are rich in the mineral potassium. Potassium helps maintain fluid levels in the body and regulates the movement of nutrients and waste products in and out of cells. Potassium also helps muscles to contract and nerve cells to respond. It keeps the heart beating regularly and can reduce the effect of sodium. One of the benefits of watching the television shows is that you will get to learn and appreciate the different cultures. As a movie enthusiast, you will watch different movies of different actors who originate in different countries. This will give you a wider perspective of the various cultures, and you are likely to appreciate the contribution being made by individuals in different parts of the world. Neuroscience has traditionally been classed as a subdivision of biology. Many researchers say that neuroscience means the same as neurobiology. However, neurobiology looks at the biology of the nervous system, while neuroscience refers to anything to do with the nervous system. Neuroscientists are involved in a much wider scope of fields, who study the evolutionary and medical aspects of the nervous system. In 1994, Microsoft's founder, Bill Gates, said that although banking is necessary, banks are really not. At a time when many traditional institutions and ways of doing things are changing, banking is changing too. There are now new ways of accessing loans and lending money. Thanks to the rise of alternative finance, people can raise and invest money outside the traditional banking system.
Change is inevitable in any sphere of life. Although the results of change can bring great benefits, the process of change can be intensely traumatic, involve loss of choice, power, and status, and when change happens in the workplace, it can even lead to loss of jobs. Many businesses and organizations use a model called the change curve to understand and manage how people react to change.
Since the Soviet Union successfully launched the first man-made satellite, Sputnik 1, in 1957, about 5,000 more satellites have been put into orbit around the Earth. About 2,000 of these are active, and although the rest are now dysfunctional, they remain in orbit, together with parts from all the rockets that carried them there. You need to finish all the reading chapters before the field trip. You need to finish all the reading chapters before the field trip. Put the knife and fork next to the spoon near the edge of the table. Put the knife and fork next to the spoon near the edge of the table. In this library, reserve collection books can be borrowed for up to 3 hours. In this library, reserve collection books can be borrowed for up to 3 hours. She is an expert in 18th-century French literature. She is an expert in 18th-century French literature. Sport is the main cause of traumatic brain injury in the United States. Sport is the main cause of traumatic brain injury in the United States. Students are so scared of writing essays because they have never learned how. Students are so scared of writing essays because they have never learned how. The author expressed a view that modern readers invariably cannot accept. The author expressed a view that modern readers invariably cannot accept. We know that dolphins use sound to communicate with each other. We know that dolphins use sound to communicate with each other. I would like an egg and tomatoes on white sandwich bread with orange juice. I would like an egg and tomatoes on white sandwich bread with orange juice. Have you talked to your parents about the problems you're having? Have you talked to your parents about the problems you're having? Parties have become synonymous with sociability because of certain underlying ideas about what true social connection might require and entail. We assume that sociability naturally springs up when lots of people are put together in a room, that it means speaking a lot and notably cheerfully about things that have been happening in our lives, that it depends on a jokey manner and ideally on the possession of a few entertaining anecdotes, often involving striking coincidences. But such assumptions sidestep two sizable objections. Firstly, true sociability, that is a real connection between two people, is almost never built up via anything cheerful. It is the result of making ourselves vulnerable before another person, by revealing some of what is broken, lost, confused, lonely and in pain within us. We build genuine connections when we dare to exchange thoughts that might leave us open to humiliation and judgment. At some point in your life, maybe even now, you might wonder whether freelancing is right for you. You'll need a few things to be successful. First, you'll need a skill that's in demand. This can be as universal as driving a car to as specialized as neurosurgery, and it can be in pretty much any field. The more people who want your skill, and the fewer people who have it, the more you can charge for your services. Next, you'll need to transform yourself into an entrepreneur. Before freelancers can do any work, they have to find it. That takes marketing your services, negotiating contracts, building a network of satisfied clients, and a whole set of administrative skills like project management, time management, and accounting. And thirdly, if you can afford it, it's probably a good idea to budget for some benefits for yourself and maybe your family. Freelancers don't automatically get perks that some salaried jobs offer. Which item of cutlery has several prongs, usually 3? What piece of furniture is specifically designed for sleeping all through the night? When ice is at room temperature, what does it become?